The South Today Bulletin, proudly brought to you in association with MoleMap, the skin cancer detection specialists.
Tonight on the South Today, rural has never looked so urban in Queenstown as zoning issues leave some residents strapped for cash. Otago's brightest students are rewarded for their efforts as their achievements are noticed by the Prime Minister. And a big win for Southland as a local high school brings home a hotly contested national sports title. Kia ora, good evening. I'm Hannah Wilkins. Some of Queenstown's newest developments are still seen as rural properties, which is leaving some residents out of pocket. Locals are calling for a rezoning of some of the region's rural areas, saying their considerable growth hasn't been taken into consideration for over a decade.
These areas aren't so rural anymore. Thanks to the efforts from a group of Queenstowners, New Zealand's Petition Committee wants urgent progress from the next government to rezone accommodation supplement areas across the country, giving them until December to respond. Queenstown Councillor Nikki Gladding says that this isn't just a local issue, with the proposed updated zoning laws able to help thousands of households still deemed rural across the country.
So obviously for anything to change, Parliament's going to need to change the law. And so I guess what we'd like to see ahead of the election is some recognition of the issue. It's not just a Queenstown issue, it's impacting other parts of the country, including Tauranga and Nelson as well.
Areas such as Shot Over Country haven't had their boundaries updated in over 30 years, despite their population growing from 40 to 4,000 since 2013. Hanley's Farms and Jack's Point are in the same boat, growing around 10 times their size over the last decade. Families supported by the supplement in rural areas can only receive $120 a week, while people in urban areas get up to $305.
For your standard family, you're talking about upwards of $200 a week difference from being considered in a rural section compared to living in an urban area.
The push was spearheaded by Andrew Wilson, Southland MP Joseph Mooney and Queenstown Community Housing Trust boss Julie Scott, who were all glad to see progress after 7 years of work. Wilson says no matter who's in government, they'll struggle to find a legitimate reason to ignore their recommendation. In Queenstown, the South Today.
2 people were injured in a central Dunedin car crash yesterday, closing off roads to members of the public in peak after-school traffic. Emergency services attended the scene near the intersection between Castle and St Andrew Street at around 2:45 on Wednesday afternoon. One vehicle was left facing the wrong direction on State Highway 1. 2 people were assessed and treated for injuries at the scene, one in a moderate condition, the other minor, and neither were transported to hospital. The roads were reopened at around 3:30 p.m. The future is looking bright for Dunedin as Otago acknowledges some excellent achievements from high school students. The Otago Daily Times Class Act shines a light on some of the region's best and brightest young stars, celebrating 24 years of the initiative.
A proud moment for these high achievers, accepting their award from New Zealand's top man. The loud horns of Scottish bagpipes blared around the Dunedin Public Art Gallery on Wednesday, welcoming the guest of honour to this year's Otago Daily Times Class Act ceremony. 56 pupils from across Otago walked up on stage to receive their certificates, also taking in an inspirational message from ODT editor Paul McIntyre.
You are this country's future. By accepting this award, I hope this gives you the confidence to follow your dreams and push on to succeed in whatever field you choose.
The annual initiative acknowledges these future leaders for their excellence in academics, sport and music with a Class Act certificate.
This is an incredibly special event. It's always exciting to be able to share and celebrate young people's successes.
The Class Act recipients were also given the Leaders of Tomorrow scholarship to go towards the start of their future at the Otago University for next year.
This award is not only recognition of what you have achieved so far, it also signals that you're on track for continued success.
McIntyre is delighted that Class Act has been acknowledged by the university. The ODT editor was also happy to have the Prime Minister as a guest speaker handing out the prestigious awards, believing it was a testament to the excellent young recipients. In Dunedin, the South Today.
A determined elderly man is on a mission to keep Mosgiel streets clean. What started as a daily walk has now stretched into over a decade of community service for Brian Larson, but now he's taking time to enjoy his life.
Cleaning up the Mosgiel streets, one piece of rubbish at a time. Brian Larson has lived in Mosgiel since the 60s. He started his journey cleaning up his community shortly after his wife died 11 years ago. Larson would usually go out for 3 walks a day, collecting rubbish off the street with his grabber, but admits it's time for him to slow down and take life at a slower pace.
In earlier days, I used to fill 2 or 3 of those bags in one trip, one walk. Now I do 1 bag and that's just about enough.
Many local residents have started to recognise Larson, with some even gifting the do-gooder groceries for his efforts at keeping Mosgiel clean.
Being an ex-firefighter in Mosgiel, and unfortunately I think everybody knows when I'm out walking, because when the fire truck goes past us, they toot at me, you know.
Larson is grateful for the support he's received towards his mission, insisting he'll keep on picking up litter for as long as his body will let him. In Dunedin, the South Today.
An Invercargill rugby team have etched themselves in the history books, bringing home their first ever national title. It was a big moment for Southland Boys High School yesterday as the community held a special ceremony celebrating the newly crowned champions.
And with one last kick of the ball, they're champions, making history down south.
Southland Boys High School are your national first 15 champions for 2023.
Southland Boys High School are the latest national first 15 champs after a tightly fought victory over Westlake Boys earlier this month, edging the game 32-29. It's the first time the Invercargill school has won the prestigious Moaska Cup in their 100-year history, bringing it back home for a civic ceremony on Wednesday.
I don't think anyone around the country really believes that a small Southland school would go up and compete against those Auckland schools, so even just getting to go to top 4 was pretty special, but then competing against those top teams and coming out on top was even more special.
The final took place at the CET Arena in Palmerston North, with fullback Jimmy Taylor scoring a drop goal from more than 40 metres out, which won them the game.
It's a beauty!
Just after half-time the boys scored and you kind of see the momentum shift in the game, and from then on we kind of seemed to be on top of the game, and then that last 2 minutes the boys were holding on to the ball and just dried out the game and ended up winning it.
Hundreds of supporters gave the new champions a warm welcome as they returned home at the Invercargill airport. Mayor Nobby Clark congratulated the team at the ceremony, saying he felt very proud of the first 15 for finally getting the Southland Boys High name on the Moaska trophy. In Invercargill, the South Today.
FI Yakane still to come on the South Today. A Queenstown martial arts duo do themselves and the country proud at an international jiu-jitsu competition. And Rainbow Rosalind takes some Dunedin school children on a journey to mindfulness through musical theatre.
If you're at risk of developing melanoma skin cancer, you owe it to yourself to have a mole map. Mole map is coming to your area. Phone today to make an appointment. It could save your life.
Aero, used by Australia's top bowlers with their unique Z-scoop grip that redefines the game. Machined with robotics for unparalleled accuracy, Aero, same line, every time.
Wake up, Dunedin, and save money! He's taken 25 to 50% off all bedroom furniture and beds. 25 to 50% off! Plus, pay nothing until 2025.
My mate John.
A poorly maintained heat pump can lose up to 35% of its output. The Mr. Heat Pump Cleaner team are experts. Their specially developed chemical wash is totally biodegradable. Call Mr. Heat Pump Cleaner and get the job done by the professionals.
Here at Age Concern Otago, we offer a range of services to support Otago seniors to age well with dignity and independence. We provide social work support, visiting service, health promotion and social activities. Check out what we have on offer at ageconcernotago.com.
Tēnā koe, welcome back. Two Queenstown martial artists are returning home with the silverware after putting their skills to the test across the ditch. The duo competed in the Australian-Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu Junior Champs, shaking off some nerves as they stepped up in the competition.
These two girls are grappling their way to the top, returning to Queenstown last month wrapped in medals. 16-year-old Molly Takawa was crowned champ at the Australian-Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu Junior Championships in Melbourne. She won gold in the Nogi division, securing the win within 9 seconds. She also took out second place in the gi competition. 12-year-old Liberty Hyde, also from Queenstown, joined her resort town counterpart for a podium finish, taking home bronze in the hotly contested yellow gi division. They both felt the competition across the ditch was tougher than what they've faced in New Zealand, which had their nerves shook before hitting the mat.
The hardest challenge for me to go and compete over there is just walking through the door to go and see all of those people there. It's intimidating.
Both girls are reigning national champions in their age brackets, believing their hard work was behind their Aussie success. Hyde said she trained almost every day for 2 weeks at the Te Manawa gym, leading to a third place finish.
The hardest training should always be on the practice mat. Once you go to the comp mat, it should never be hard there because you put all the hard effort in here.
The pair are now switching their focus towards their next competition, joining the Te Manawa contingent to compete at the National Gi Champs in Auckland next month. In Queenstown, the South Today.
A professional fairy is fluttering her way through a Dunedin primary school, teaching pupils about mindfulness. The children are learning to pause, breathe and smile as they prepare for a one-night-only musical journey.
Singing their little hearts out, all ready for opening night. Māori Hill school pupils are being told to break a leg after months of preparation for their new musical Pause, Breathe, Smile. The youngsters have been practicing their mindfulness at school, which inspired children's entertainer Rosalind Manowitz to write the show.
It was a really amazing initiative to teach these kids some mindfulness tools to help with emotional regulation, and I think that's such a hugely important part of life, and that's what grows healthy adults.
Manowitz is also known as Dunedin's professional fairy Rainbow Rosalind, working as a TV presenter and children's performer. The musical follows a Dunedin family's journey up the country, with the main characters experiencing their very own pause, breathe, smile moments along the way.
When we first auditioned them and started working with them until now, they've just grown massively in confidence and their singing and in everything. It's been really amazing to watch.
260 pupils are set to sing, dance and act their hearts out on Thursday, taking to the stage at the Regent Theatre for an exclusive one-night show. In Dunedin, the South Today.
And now recapping tonight's top stories on the South Today. The government is under pressure to review zoning issues, which leaves some Queenstown residents receiving less money. The annual Class Act Awards celebrated Otago's brightest high school students as they look ahead to their future. And the Southland Boys High School First 15 was welcomed home following their historic national championship win. And now we'll look at what's happening in tomorrow's ODT, and we welcome back editor Paul McIntyre. Hello Paul, and congratulations on Class Act yesterday.
Thank you, it was a wonderful event, Hannah.
Yeah.
Really good, thank you.
What can we expect in tomorrow's paper?
So, bumper edition again. Oamaru man says the bullying his family has faced after the house burnt down is just a bit too much for the family.
Right.
There's also a community split as board chairman, and he's refused Barry Williams to resign over his racial slur. We've got a lovely story about 30 years ago. The first Polyfest acted as a beacon of light for a young Samoan man who is now a stage manager of the popular Dunedin event.
Lovely, what a great story. Yeah.
And finally, a nice one, if you're missing your spates, there's a reason, because Lion NZ has apologised to customers because they've had an issue with delivery delays. So
right.
There may be a shortage.
Yeah, not good ahead of the weekend.
No, exactly.
Thank you for coming over and sharing with us, Paul. We look forward to reading.
No problem.
Well, time now for a look at the weather.
The South Today weather, proudly brought to you by MoleMap, the skin cancer detection specialists.
Now, as it is Te Wiki o Te Reo Māori Language Week, we are referencing some towns and cities accordingly, but first looking at the situation, the cold southwesterly airflow will ease tomorrow before another front arrives at the weekend with strong to gale northwesterly airflow, followed by a southwesterly shortly after. Heading to the top of Te Waipounamu, fine with southwesterlies and 16 tomorrow in Whakatu and Mawhera, while Otago will be wet and windy with gusty southwesterlies and a high of 14 degrees. Travelling to South Canterbury and North Otago, it's becoming fine through here tomorrow with southwesterlies. It'll get up to 14 in Hakatera and Te Tihi o Maru, with 13 on the way for Te Oho o Maru. Heading westwards to the Central Lakes, gusty southwesterly winds are around for another day through here with 14 degree highs in Tahuna, Wanaka and Manuheriakea. Heading further south, fine with fresh southwesterlies and 12 degree highs in Iwikatea and Maroa tomorrow, while Owaka looks cloudy with 11 and strong winds throughout the day. Across to Waihopai, showers are clearing tonight and the winds will die down as the temperature drops to 8 degrees. Tomorrow's cloudy with cool westerlies and a high of 11. Then Saturday looks cloudy and rain, wet with rain rather, and northwesterlies getting to gale force late in the day with 15 as the high. And finally heading to Otipoti. Rain tonight with southwesterly gales and a low of 8. The showers will clear around dawn tomorrow with strong to near gale force southwesterlies knocking things around a bit with 11 the expected high. Then Saturday brings thick high cloud with fresh winds that'll pick up later in the day after a high of 17 degrees. And that's the news this Thursday. For the latest news and videos from the southern region, head online to odt.co.nz. You can follow Channel 39 on YouTube to catch our news bulletins on demand. And you can also follow us on Facebook. Just search for the South Today NZ to see our favourite stories from around the regions. We'll see you again tomorrow. Ka kite o pōpō.
Public interest journalism funded through New Zealand On Air.